I wish to bring to your attention of all honorable members that since the assumption of this administration appointment, however, there is a need, it is pertinent to inform your honor that my request is in line with section 196, subsection 1 and 2 of the 99 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. While I await the Honorable Assembly's approval, please accept the assurances of my highest regard and best wishes. Signed by the Executive Governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde. So before us is a request by His Excellency for the approval of 20 special advisors in order for them to work hand in hand with His Excellency to achieve the policies as stated in our campaign for the good people of Oyo State. I will take comments or opinions or a motion for approval. The leader.
Having said that, Mr. Speaker and distinguished colleague, I want to appeal to this honorable House that we treat the request with urgency. And I want to move that the request for the appointment of 20 special advisors by the executive as contained in the letter signed by the governor to this August Assembly with distinguished colleague, I so submit.
Honorable Olabi.
Member of this distinguished House, I'm Olushola Adewale Olabi, representing about the Northeast State Constituency 2. I want to second the submission of the majority leader, as it has been well said, that a lot of expectation is in Omitutu 2.0, and for the fulfillment of these expectations.
A motion has been moved and duly seconded. Those that the request of His Excellency for the approval of 20 special advisors be approved by this honorable House. Say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Next item.
Mr. Speaker and esteemed colleague, the next item, our order paper, is announcements.
There are some announcements. The first announcement is to inform the distinguished members of the Committee on Public Accounts that there will be an inaugural meeting immediately after and attend punctually. State House of 10th Assembly Christian Honorable Members as follows. The venue is the Parliament Chapel, Oyo State House of Assembly Complex. The theme is ruling in the fear of God. 2 Samuel 23, verse 3. Date, Friday, 28th July 2023. 28th of July, I assume that is next week Friday. Time, Oluwarotimi, Alade Kogbe, Ibadan North Anglican Diocese. Signed by the chapter president, Honorable O.A. Oluwafokomi, representing Ibadan Southwest 2 States Constituency, and Honorable J.G.J. Oyikola, who is the Chief Whip of the House, representing Atiba State Constituency. That will be all for announcements. Next item.
Mr. Speaker and esteemed colleague, the next item on our order paper is petitions
to read petitions sent to the House.
Mr. Speaker, sir, of the House, we have 4 petitions before the House this day. The first one is from the Parent Teachers Association, Igbora High School. It's to the Speaker and is titled Public Petition on an Abandoned Project in Our School. I read, first and foremost, we congratulate you on your re-election as a member of the House and your subsequent re-election as the Speaker of the House. We rise to seek for the kind intervention of our State House of Assembly in calling a contractor who has abandoned a project in our school to order, with a view of having him back on the facts of the matter. The contract for the repair of a block of 5 classrooms was awarded by the Ministry of Education. The name of the contractor is Kafumukache International Limited. The heading of the contract award letter is rehabilitation of secondary school building and 4 compartment toilets in each of the selected schools in Ido, Ibarapa North, Ibarapa Central, and Ibarapa East local governments. The contractor was mobilized and started work on February 2018. He abandoned the project in Igboora High School since January 2019. The abandonment has created severe hardship for the staff and the students. At the time of writing this letter, the building remains uncompleted, and students of learning inside uncompleted building. All the 6 schools contracts awarded to the same contractor are suffering the same fate. We hereby the State House of Assembly in resolving this matter. The petition is signed by Mr. Rufai Bolagade, Chairman PTA, and Mr. Akinyemi Akinlabi. Mr. Speaker, sir.
The first petition has been read. In order not to waste any more time, this petition we refer this petition to the House Committee on Public. We'll give the Public Petitions Committee the first assignment in order for them to investigate the issue with this present contractor. Since it's a statutory committee, why don't we do it this way? I believe that petition is for a school, an abandoned school project. We should use this opportunity to also write to the Ministry of Education. Let's find out what other incomplete school projects we have in the state, so that we use this as a point of contact to, touch on the larger. So let them give us a list of all incomplete projects whereby the contract has been awarded or maybe even mobilized, either the first tranche or the second tranche, but the project still remains incomplete. Please give the report, the House reports back in 2 weeks if possible. Thank you. Next petition, please.
Mr. Speaker, sir, distinguished honorable members of the House, this petition is from Akinyele local government, the legislative arm of government. Is addressed to the Right Honorable Speaker. Is titled, Request for Legislative Intervention on the recent imbroglio to Akinyele. Your Honorable House through your distinguished office about the recent developments in our council. It is now about 2.5 years of our house inauguration without mind saying any word. We were talked into working as an entity by the referred leaders of our local government under his sabotaging and betraying postures of the leader of the council, Honorable Awar Mutiu. In view of this, after several failed efforts to bring the leader to the circumstantial reasoning, 8 out of the 12 members sat to impeach the leader, announcing Mr. Adeleke Femi Michael, member representing Ward 7 of Akinyele local government. The move that was countered by the chairman with the importation of thugs led by one Mr. Saliu and unleashed terror of attacks that subjected some of our members to various degrees of wounds and injuries, with the mace connived away by the said thug to the chairman custody. It is almost 2 months now after we were denied access and entry to the local government conference center, where we do see for our proceedings under a tension-laden atmosphere by thugs brought into the council by the chairman. The situation that called for our sitting outside the secretariat building under the protected G8 and the G4. We were asked to state our positions, which were made known to the committee. In all, we submitted our own resolution in line to show that G8's concurrence to the dictate of the leaders, but got to know that to write to inform you of the developments as we, G8, are not allowed to come to the office because of threats to our lives by the hoodlums engaged by Mr. Chairman. Only the G4 members are the ones freely parading themselves around. Please save our souls and allow us to discharge our legitimate legislative functions. This is our second letter to your office. Regards to the cheating and intimidation acts of our chairman, and we haven't seen any response so far. Please do something. We are hereby appeal to this honorable house to come and help us save our lives and address legislative harm of Akinyele local government. Signed and agreed by councillors of GA Matthew Oluwafemi, Ward 2, Abolade Taofik Lamidi, Ward 3, Audu Abibat Bamidele, Ward 6, Akintunde Ismail Odunlami, Ward Taofik Olarere, Ward 9, Adedeji Shina, Ward 10, Akanwo Olayinka, Ward 12. Mr. Speaker, sir.
I think we should take should we take it one after the other? There are pictures. There are also pictures as part of the petition. This is the petition. I believe it's against the chairman of BG Adebayo will also be joining as a member, and Honorable Bamidele Adeola will also join as a member, making a total number of 5 members. In the course of the investigation, as we always do, and is as tradition here, we will ask the chairman to also step aside for the course of this investigation, but I also need the House to move the motion
of allegation, counter-allegation, noises, and crisis in Akinyele local government. And I shall be observed by the Right Honorable Speaker. I want to move that the chairman of Akinyele local government should step aside until the final report of the investigative committee, and the leader of the house should step in as the acting vice chairman of the local government, pending the final report of the committee.
You do second.
So, the Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I also second the motion which moved by the leader of the House that the chairman of Akinyele should step down and the vice chairman should take in as the acting chairman. I so second.
I'll put it to the House. Distinguished honorable colleagues, there's an issue with there should be some correction to the motion because it's been brought to our attention that also the councillors are involved in this. So it's almost impossible for us to, yes.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I think at this junction, what we can do, since there seems to be some issues too, is to allow the HLA of the council to take
But
over.
can't the chairman administer the local government? Can't even administer both.
Okay. Since if the vice chairman is free
Has
of
the
all the
capacity.
allegation,
Honorable Gbenga.
Benjamin Kola is my name. But going by the organogram of the local government, if you find out that the vice chairman is neutral, he can step in as the chairman of the substantive local government. Why the HOG in the LCDA should take over?
Government to take over the LCDA. Thank you, sir.
Well, we have an anonymous decision on that. Yes. But is it the secretary in charge of one of the LCDs, or do we have two vice chairmen? Okay, how many LCDs do we have in Akinyele? We have two. So presently we have a chairman and two vice chairmen, or do we have a chairman, a vice chairman, and a secretary heading the third one? So
is Honorable Akitunde Olajide, representing Lagos State Constituency. For whatever we do today is already enshrined in the law of Oyo State, which is Section 19, 20, 21. And the chairman cannot be on the seat while we investigate. We have moved past that. And the secretary, the second LCDA. So if you have to move it by the organogram, the vice chairman will go to the main council, while the secretary will go to secretary, both in the main council and the other. So the main council secretary will now move to the last LCDA. Thank you, sir.
all right. So majority leader, is that the motion?
To the first SCDA and the assistant secretary to take up the second SCDA while the investigation continues. The same colleague I so submit.
Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleague, so I so second the motion as moved by the leader of the House that the vice chairman to take over as acting chairman and the secretary to take the secretary SDA1 to take as the vice chairman, the assistant secretary to take in charge of SDA2. So I so second.
Those in favor that the chairman do step aside while investigation continues, and the vice chairman should take over the main LCDA, the secretary should take over the LCDA 2, while the assistant secretary takes over LCDA 3. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Next petition. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, sir, distinguished honorable members of the House, the third petition is addressed to the Right Honorable Speaker, and it is titled, A Clarion Call for Investigation into the Activities of the Chairman, Ibadan North Local Government, Mr. Shuaib Oladayo Yusuf Agbaigbe, on his gross misconduct, abuse of office, misappropriation of local government funds, and anti-party activities. I read, the party leaders, executive members, and the entire members of our great party, PDP, in Ibadan North Local Government, appreciate all the developmental and giant strides of His Excellency States. We write this submission with an expectation from the people and concerned stakeholders of Ibadan North Local Government for replication of much desired developments and physical projects to our local government by the chairman to complement the efforts of Governor Seyi Makinde at the grassroots levels. But to our dismay, the executive chairman, Mr. Shuaib Oladayo Yusuf, has been handling the affairs of Ibadan North Local Government with impunity on the grounds of gross misconduct, abuse of office, misappropriation of local government funds, and anti-party activities. Our claims on misappropriation of funds suffice that, since his assumption of office as the chairman, received an average of 16 million naira monthly allocation from the state, especially from January 2022, and that is about 128 million naira for good 8 months. With the receipt of these funds, there were no impactful projects executed by the chairman except frivolous expenditure incurred by the local government. Aside the allocation received from the state, Ibadan North Local Government, being a metropolitan local government, generates an average of 2 million to 3 million independent IGR on a monthly basis. It is disheartening and disgusting to state unequivocally that instead of utilizing funds generated from the people of the local government to execute impactful projects as a way of giving back to them, Mr. Shuaib Oladayo Yusuf diverted the local government's IGR to sundry expenses of his personal office that has no economic value to the people of the local government. The excesses and abuse of office by Mr. Chairman are also demonstrated in the handling of the finances and administration of the main council and the 2 LCDAs. His action remittance of 30% of monthly allocation due to the 2 LCDAs in March and April 2022 contravened the operational guidelines and circulars issued by the state government via the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters. This is a clear trait of an emperor, a gross misconduct, and a complete abuse of office as showcased by the chairman. It is also an established fact that Mr. Oladayo Yusuf involved in a series of anti-party activities prior to the last general elections. There were substantive evidences from the last elections that the chairman did not play any active role in the elections, if not for the efforts of the patriotic party leaders and members of our great party. We would have written different stories at the poll. Your Honor, sir, based on the above submissions, we, the concerned stakeholders in the local government, seek your quick intervention and investigations on the preceding matters to save the local government from imminent loss of values, integrity, and eventful collapse as a result of the singular misconduct of Mr. Oladayo Yusuf. His actions, we believe, are against the guiding and developmental philosophy of His Excellency, Engineer Seyi Makinde, especially at the grassroots level. The petition is signed by Hakeem Abiodun, Adigun Aliu, Peter Akinola, Abigail Okanlawon, Matthew Oladipo. Mr. Speaker, sir.
A petition has been read. Although the party issues are strictly internal party issues, allegation has been laid before the chairman of misappropriation of public funds. How far this is true, we are yet to ascertain, but it's only proper that we, as the custodian of the people, to investigate whether or not this is true. At the same time, in the same vein as the last petition, we are going to inaugurate an ad hoc committee. Another committee headed by Honorable Peter Ojedokun as the chairman, Honorable S.A. Onalapo as member, Honorable O. Okpanride as member, Honorable B.G. Adebayo as a member, and Honorable Bamidele Adeola also as a member of this ad hoc committee for the sole purpose of investigating potential misappropriation of public funds. If that is the case, they will report back to the House in 2 weeks. But before then, the leader, I think the DS has a comment.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, all I want to say is that this is one petition too many, sir. From what the clerk read out, the issue of appropriation of funds, misappropriation of funds is not a small allegation. And you have rightly said, I just want to add to it, Mr. Speaker, that the person in question should step aside for now for proper investigation of the committee to happen, because that is the only way the committee can do their job thoroughly. So I am moving a motion that the executive chairman of Ibadan North local government should step aside for now for House. I won't investigate the allegation. Mr. Speaker, I so move. Thank you.
Honorable Kitende.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable member, my name is Honorable Akitunde Olajide, representing Lagos State Constituency. I just want to lay my voice for a record. Recently, the House have been how we step aside the chairman and what's up. But I want to put sentiment in anything we are doing, especially on the public space. There is any clearly moved by the Deputy Speaker. Thank you.
Okay. The Deputy Speaker has moved the motion that the President Chairman do step aside while investigation continues. Honorable Akintude has also explained where the powers come from. So those in favor that the... Okay.
With your permission, Mr. Speaker, can I move that in fear of the motion moved earlier by the Deputy Speaker, seconded by the leader of the House, instead of the Assistant Secretary, the leader of the House to step in to the third local government, to the third SCDA as the acting chairman, finally depending the
second, as moved by the leader of the House, that the chairman to step aside, and the vice chairman to take in, and the secretary to take in as a vice chairman. And the leaders to take as the order as a chairman, SDA chairman, as a second.
Distinguished honorable colleagues, those in favor that the chairman step down pending the investigation, and that the vice chairman take over the main council, and that the other vice chairman takes over LCDA 2, while the leader of the House takes over LCDA 2. Those in favor?
Speaker, is titled Reports a renewed dimension to the orchestrated stalemate in this local government's 10-member legislative council. I respectfully wish to refer to the above subject matter and intimate your honor with a new report on actions and steps that were taken in the recent time by the 5 dissenting members of this local government legislative council. You will recall that in a build-up to the crisis in this local government legislative council, triggered by the 5 dissenting councillors, allegations and counter-allegations were leveled against the executive arm of the local government, and a development that led to the OAC's suspension of the chairman of the local government by the 5 dissenting members of the legislative council. However, in a bid to stop this trend and allow peace to reign in the local government, the honorable members of this House, led by the chairman of the House Committee on Local Governments and Traditional Matters, intervened, and where the parties in the field were invited and the raging controversy on ground was amicably resolved. Aside the intervention of the House, the state caucus of the party equally intervened, and the matter was also amicably resolved. As a true Democrat and a man of peace, I invited them, that is the fielding 5 councillors, after the House and party intervention at the state, for a chat on how to avoid future crises in the House, but all to no avail, as none of them honored my invitation sent to them by the leader of the House. Recent report, I thank you. Signed, Executive Chairman, Oyo East Local Government, Kosobu, Oyo. Mr. Speaker, sir.
Just to amend the ad hoc committee that is investigating the first local government situation, the first 2 local government institutions, namely Akinyele local government and Ibadan North local government. 2 members will be drafted into the ad hoc committee, namely Honorable M.O. Akonde and Honorable Tunde Kende, one representing Akinyele, the other representing Ibadan Southeast 1. So the ad hoc committee is made up of 7 members to investigate both the Akinyele and Ibadan North. And then now we have another petition from a local government before us. I believe it's Oyo East. We will also put Oyo East under this same ad hoc committee. We're going to constitute another committee constituting of the same members, namely Honorable Peter Ojedokun as chairman, Honorable S. Onalapo as member, Honorable O. Opanride as member, Honorable B.G. Adebayo as member, Honorable Bamidele Adeola as member, Honorable M.O. Akonde as a
In Oyo East, Oyo West State constituency. I haven't listened to the petition. I want to ask the clerk, what are the prayers of the petition? Because it sounds to me more like somebody, as if the chairman of the local government has run to the House of Assembly for protection from being questioned by the anti-graft agencies. So I just want to ask, what are the prayers of the petitions? Number one, that's number one. Number 2 is that I'm aware that the House Committee on Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters already intervened. So I still want to request that that intervention can be extended, so at least they can still work towards resolving whatever issues they have within the local government, so that everybody can be at peace. Thank you very much.
Right, Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name remains Honorable Adeba Abajide Gabriel, representing the good people of Ibadan North State Constituency, also the Jagaban of 9th and 10th Assembly. And so saying, yeah, I have to, from what two issue about that prayers there on that petition. My first issue is that this RO chamber have already called the councillors, are from the same party. If there's an internal crisis, it should be solved amicably. Not if it's true, quote, and I said, that the 5 councillors have exit and go to ICPC or EFCC outside the House of Assembly knowledge after we already intervened. Furthermore, to ICPC to open and anything on anti-grace, as you have said, we should also call them to order. As far as the party, the member, the House of Assembly Committee on Local Government has already, if they are not, they also revert back to the Assembly. Not that a 5 member of the council out of 12 or 10 go ahead and also to the ICPC. That's outside their, although if that outside petitioner have done that, it would have been better. But for this councillor, after intervention of the party, the House of Assembly, I think we should worry of that. If that can happen in that, so that will leverage that for other local governments to, from my own prayer, let us invite all the councillor and the 5 petitioner, if it's true that they have already led allegation on of the same party to ICPC, we think with the measure on that as to submit.
I mean, I don't think there's so much to deliberate on this matter. It's just simple. It's a clear case of me, the way I see it personally is that the House intervened the first time. If our intervention wasn't suitable to either Party A or Party B, they should have reverted back to the House of Assembly, not taking matters into their own hands. You know, going to ICPC will not solve the issue. It will only broaden the issue and even deepen the issue. That shouldn't be the next point of call. We in the Assembly have been through such case, and I can guarantee you, according to experience, it is not the way to go, and it will bring about more troubles than solutions. And at the end of the day, it's the people of Oyo that will suffer it. They will suffer it the most where the local government has no peace. They cannot deliver dividend of democracy to the people. We're going to investigate this matter, and at the end.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I so second as moved by the leader of the House.
Those in favor of the motion as moved by the majority leader and seconded by the minority leader, say aye. The ayes have it. Next item.
Mr. Speaker and esteemed colleague, the next item on the order is directives.
No directives.
Next item is matter of urgent public importance.
No matter of urgent public importance.
Next item is personal explanation.
No personal explanation.
Okay, we are now in the order of the day paper, Mr. Speaker. And the first item to be considered in the order of the day paper for is screening of nominee for the position of commissioners in Oyo State. OYHAP/10/02/23. Pursuant to directive of the House on Thursday, 22nd June 2023, and Section 192, Subsection 2 of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as uttered, the underlisted are to appear before the House for screening for the purpose of confirmation of their appointment. Professor Misbah Babatunde and Mrs. Toyin Balogun.
We can invite the commissioner designate to the floor so that we can screen them and then get ahead with the program.
I, Professor Musipa Babatunde, do solemnly swear that every evidence that shall give before this honorable house shall be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the
From Professor Musiba Babatunde and Mrs. Toyin Balogun to the Holy Chamber. For Professor Musiba Babatunde, this is not your first time here. For Mrs. Toyin Balogun, I'm sure a lot of the honorable members here are very familiar with you and you're familiar with them. Because in a minute or two, just tell us about yourself, your background, what you were able to achieve in the last administration, what your goals are for this administration, and why is it that the Oyo State House of Assembly budget is so low? You can explain that to us.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And other protocol of the House of Assembly fully observed. I'm Professor Musiba Babatunde. I'm a professor of economics. And I served as a Commissioner for Budget and Planning in the first administration of Governor Makinde, 2019 to 2023. I led the development in place in the state. And this was anchored on 4 pillars. And that's economic expansion through infrastructure as well as agribusiness. The second pillar was education. We had health as well as security. We realized that particular framework because we were able to double the gross domestic product from 2.75 trillion in 2019 to 4.05 trillion in year 2023, first quarter, while we are actually leaving this administration. So we've been able to take a lot of responsibility as tertiary healthcare as well. Then adequate security have been provided and we've reduced to a certain extent incidences of crime in Oyo State. For the first time, Oyo State was able to record 75.1 budget performance from the African. I'm pleased to tell you that as at last week, the state improved from around number 26 that was ranked in the year 2020 to number 8 in budget transparency and accountability in the state. Because we are able to collaborate together with this particular hallowed assembly in getting our medium-term expenditure framework passed. My office was also responsible in preparing the Agenda 2040 for the state and the medium-term sector's strategy framework. So these are some of the things that we have actually put together that have improved the economic growth of Oyo State. And we are now in the trajectory of achieving adequate economic development. For year 2023 to 2027, we have brought sustainable development. And I'm telling this particular assembly that it is still the same 4 pillars that we are working on. Economic expansion, education, security, as well as rule of law, to ensure equality, fairness, and justice in the state for us to be able to achieve our social structural responsibility. So on this particular basis, these are the modest achievements I can quickly remember, and I believe that by coming on board will be a very good opportunity for us to be able to move the state forward.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much. You've said a lot. I'll just give Mrs. Toyin Balogun also an opportunity to just describe herself and also what her impact was during this last 2.0.
Good morning, Right Honorable Speaker, and all other distinguished members of the House. My name is Mrs. Oluwatoyin Omomi Balogun, native of this state from the Northwest Local Government, precisely from Agbole Legun, the Mary Hill Convent School, proceeded to one of the Unity schools set up by the federal government at the time, called St. Helens Unity Secondary School. And from there proceeded on to the University of Ibadan, where I had my first degree. I'm presently in the final semester of my master's program from the University of Ibadan. Like the speaker said, I actually have a background in the banking sector. I was in the banking sector for a total of about close to 20 years. I left the industry several years ago and ventured into private enterprise and also ventured into politics. I have a passion for impacting positively on my locality and my environment. And these are some of the driving forces that motivated a lot of my activities. Like the speaker said, I was fortunate to be considered to handle the role of the Director General for Women Mobilization for the emergence of the Umitutu 2.0 campaign. And to the glory of God, we were able to effectively mobilize the female demographic and rally them around in support of our principal. And to the glory of God, here we are today. One of the major, like the speaker said, a specific portfolio hasn't been mentioned, but without sounding immodest, I would like to avert today that whatever portfolio my principal...
We're going to take questions from members.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Adebisi Yusuf Oladeni, the Deputy Chief Whip of this Assembly, and I represent the good people of Ibadan Southwest Local Government Constituency 1. I would like to direct my question to Mrs. Toyin Balogun. I want you to take a look at the situation of my constituency and the out-of-school children in my constituency, and even, the situation of things in the constituency at large. I'm sure you know the angle I'm trying to come from. So if you eventually find yourself of women affairs and social inclusion, how do you think you can be of help to the people of that constituency? How do you think you can change the scope of things in that constituency and make it, better for the livelihood of, the people that stay there? And I want it during your own tenure, and I pray you would be selected as the Commissioner of Women Affairs, Ministry of Women Affairs. And I just want to know, how do you think you can change the scope of things?
Thank you very much. So that question goes to Ms. Toyin Balogun. Let's first go to Oyekola, because all this Ibadan North, I don't know the agenda. I've been seeing for...
Honorable colleagues, well, I want to start on a note of congratulating the two commissioner nominees before us this afternoon. I want to speak briefly on Professor Babatunde. I was privileged to work with Professor Babatunde under Umitutu 1.0. He was the Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning. I was the special advisor under him on economic planning. Well, we thank God for our governor and how he was able to fish out this young man. I learned that Professor Babatunde designed the economic blueprint for your state. And after designing the blueprint, he refused to work with the Oyo State government. But the governor went to him to have planned. That's why he was able to come on board. Well, I want to tell this honorable house that it was Professor Babatunde who started an approach of developing a budget for Oyo State. And his approach. Gone are the days when governors would sit down at the comfort of their office and design things for our people in different constituencies and areas. But it was Professor Babatunde who decided that the Ministry of Budgets would move around the state and organize a kind of town hall meeting in various and all our geopolitical zones, that our people should come out and tell the government what they want, not what governor wants to do. What do you think you need here? And we collect everything. We travel around the state. It was this that we developed and packaged to form the budget of our state. And I thank God the governor has deemed it fit to bring him back as the commissioner. I want to just employ this honorable house. So just let's all...
Chairman, House Committee on Budget and Appropriation, who is also the Deputy Majority Leader of the 10th Assembly.
The question I have for Professor Musbao Babatunde, budgeting is a very important aspect in putting the state for 5.1% performance. This is very laudable. But when we are discussing concerning the aspects that we are considering, most especially for this 2.0, I want to ask you, if you have been given the opportunity on issue of budgeting, what plan do you have for the issue of generating electricity for this state? Most especially that we have been for the state to have the power to generate for the state.
Okay. Thank you very much. Honorable Oluwafokomi. His question is simply that now that the power has been removed from the exclusive list that is now in the concurrent list, how can we factor that into the budget in order for us to take advantage?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Oluwafokomi. I represent our people at the Southwest Constituency 2. I want to use this to congratulate the commissioner nominee, Shirley Professor Musiba Babatunde. And I want to ask just one question, which I know you will know better, because he was the immediate past commissioner for budget. Kindly let us know what was the hindrance for the government to help us fix the road.
Let's hear from Honorable Comforter first. We listen to the other female.
Thank you very much. My name is Honorable Olufunke Comforter, representing the good people of Ibadan North, Constituency 1. I want to start by congratulating our nominee. I wish you the very best. And majorly, I want to congratulate my dear sister, Mrs. Toyin Balogun. I will say rather I'm the happiest today. She happens to be from my constituency, which is Ibadan North. Also from the very first time, we have a female representative as a commissioner nominee in my constituency. So I want to wish you the very best. Secondly is the fact that you all agree with me that with the assignment given to her recently as the DG for women in Oyo State, she has performed excellently well.
to reduce the number, because the statistic has actually stated that we had 262 maternal deaths. What are the measures you put in place of women in the rural area? These two questions is key, and I will appreciate your response to this. And I think after the response, permit me with the wonderful submission, and I can assure you of my support in your states. I wish you the very best, Mrs. Toyin Balogun.
Thank you. This other woman in the house, we have to... Can't we have the microphone for Honorable Bisi?
Thank you. The Right Honorable Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues, my name is Olubisi Oluranti Michael, member representing Ogbomoso North State Constituency. Honorable, I would like to please plead on behalf of Mrs. Toyin Balogun. As you can see, during our time of being a DG campaign for women mobilization, she performed wonderfully. She was able to mobilize the women in the right way to attain the goals that was being assigned to her. And I believe this really prompted the executive governor of Oyo State to nominate her as one of the commissioners. Then I still have a question for her, although, but after this question, Yusuf Adebisi stated regarding the out of school students. Mrs. Toyin Balogun, please, ma'am, able to be for Women Affairs, what will be the, what help can you render to provide a solution to this kind of students that they are out of school? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Akintunde.
Distinguished Honorable Member, Right Honorable Speaker, I rise again to lay my voice and on a different matter entirely. I want to congratulate you once again and join my colleagues in doing that. Prof, I want to ask this as an economist. When you make a budget and you give us a fantastic analysis on 75%, this, that, the budget behaves as that, there is a purpose for that behavior and maturity in that kind of budget execution. In the real sense, as an economist, have you seen outside there, as an executive arm of the government, which is saddled with a policy making, how did you see the environment being benefited from that 75% or 72% figure that you said the budget has behaved? When we talk about budget, we are talking about fund. And when we are talking about behavior, we are economic. And when we are talking about economics, we are talking about the situation of the environment. So how are the of Oyo State? I want you to take a measure on that.
Thank you.
Remain the Jagaban of 10th Assembly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I think we are not going to call me today, but I'm fine. But thank you for calling me. Well, my first question straight go to my Professor Musiba Babatunde. Everybody is congratulating them, find the commissioner designate, but me, I may not, because I believe the governor himself will not bring wrong people to work with him, because we all know the kind of governor we have. I believe you should be, definitely you have something hidden inside you that you can deliver for the state to make the state forward. That's why I believe you are the right bag on the right oath. In so saying, Mr. Musibao, Professor Musibao, you said last time that we have 71.5% budget planning, but now this time around, where are we going to get? Because we can see where the inflation rate is, where we are right now. Things are very tight and hard in the country. You can see, as of today, fuel pump rise from NNPC from 530 to 617. If we go to all the filling stations, there is no single fuel, no filling station working like that now. So saying the federal government are bringing palliative to people, 8,000 naira per household. As a budget, how are we going to out of this issue, of this mess in Oyo State? Because government for the people, we are the government for the people in Oyo State, and people believe so much in this government in Oyo State. If you want out, the masses are suffering. How are you going to curb the inflation in Oyo State through the budgeting you are going to do for 2022, 2023 budgeting? So to my sister, Madam Balogun, congratulations once again. I believe your activities in the last election brought you this far. And also, during our primary day, when we lost for the federal rep, everybody thought the world would be over. But today, many of the members also lost on that primary. They are nowhere to be found right now. But you are here, Dimit. I believe it's because you believe what God has done has done, and you continue working for this government. So I congratulate you once again. But for you, everybody are saying Commissioner for Women. If you are not a Commissioner for Women Affairs, if you are Commissioner for Ministry of Commerce or Works, what can you deliver for this state? I want you to just say invariably for what you can deliver to move this state forward. Also, all the women have been begging, let them bow and go. Automatically, you are going to bow and go. But at least want the masses, the people for your state want to hear your voice. As an iron lady, a giant, a sexy woman, they always adore. So today, you are here. I want you to showcase. I want you to showcase yourself to the masses, to the people of Oyo State, that you can do it better than before any commissioner have been designated for the job. Thank you.
So the questions are on the commissioner. Maybe I don't know if they asked it, or maybe JD asked it, or maybe didn't hear. Is it possible for us to have simultaneous budget hearing in all of the state's constituencies at the same time, rather than doing it zonally, which you cannot really, you can't accommodate all the requests at the same time, especially in the 2 or 3 hours program. But if we're to the State House of Assembly, is it a possibility for us to do simultaneous budget hearing as a town hall meeting, whereby at the same time we are having budget hearing, and you have your officers in each of the 2 states constituencies, and you can also use our own officers even in the House of Assembly. This is done in other states, especially when they even have complex economy like Lagos State. It's practiced there, and Delta State and some other states. They do simultaneous budget hearing at the same time, rather than taking it from zone to zone. Secondly, the other question for Mrs. Tony Balogun is also that this package that is coming from federal government to state government, if you, peradventure, you are the Commissioner for Women Affairs, are you going to carry the House of Assembly along, or is it just only the local government you carry along? I'm asking this question in public because maybe we are, no, it is something that is transparent. It's something that you should, I believe that the House of Assembly, we are the people because we represent the people. and whatever we decide in this house, we decide on behalf of the people. And so we also believe that whatever is coming to the people, we should also be one of the channels, to the people that we represent. So therefore, I'm asking you that, what is your plan for the House of Assembly in case of palliative from the federal government or state government, stimulus packages from the federal government or the state government? What is your willingness to carry this House of Assembly, apart from you showing us your capacity and your sexiness, as Honorable Jide has mentioned? Honorable Adiola, please. And then after Honorable Poto, then that's it.
Or for your state budget publication on website. You have mentioned it somewhere that we have 71 or accessibility or transparent accountability. I still want to ask, the digital provision that you have put in place to ensure that people anywhere, they will see this is how much you have budgeted for in year 2024. This is where we are, and anybody can access it online. So what? And lastly, I want to ask this. Was a better explanation on how you manage the efficiency of what we call firement in budgetary system, because you have recorded so much of that in the few experience we had last administration. Thank you very much. Then Mrs. Toyin Balogun, once again I congratulate you. Just want to ask this question: activities that you did previously, not even the last this campaign. I've met you for a very long time and I know what you can do. But 2 commissioners worked in the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Inclusion last administration. But unfortunately, they could not find a permanent solution to those people under there, or a plan for a permanent solution to those people there. I moved from that place to office this morning. They are still there. What do you think can give us a permanent solution to ensure that we displace those people from there, to ensure that we have a very better Oyo State? Thank you very much.
Honorable Poto, last question. And when you're answering the question, you can summarize the questions that are similar. You don't have to answer, you can just package your closing remark with.
Right Honorable Speaker, my name is Olorun Poto, representing the very good people of East Oyo West State Constituency. Yeah, I want to congratulate the Commissioner and designates, and I will not stand here requesting that Professor Musba should take a bow and go. We know he's up to the task. So face him, fire him. We know that if he give it to you, back to back. And also for Mrs. Toyin Balogun, yeah, she has shown somebody that is of great value and offering great services to the state during campaign, and I know that she will deliver more. Now for Professor Balogun and Professor Musba, I want to ask you, sir, why do you think the Lautech Annex in Oyo, those buildings are the state hospital, why are they still in that state after over 4 years of this of Omitutu? I'm aware that the government of Adebayo Alawakala constructed those buildings. Unfortunately, those buildings, they've not served any purpose to the community since about 10 years now. And now they are now in a very bad condition. So what is our hope? Should we expect anything to be done this time around? What should your people expect? That was the question. My second question is about Atiba FM. I released 100 million naira for Atiba FM to take off. What is delaying the takeoff of Atiba FM? And what should be our expectation? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's all. Please, anyone can go first. Prof, maybe you should go first, or anyone, you can come first.
Speaker, sir, thank you very much. Let me take it from the back so that I can just through. for the Lautech Annex in Oyo, the Atiba FM. I think I was quite instrumental because we got it from the town hall about how critical those projects are to the health sector as well as the communication sector of Oyo State. So I was able to influence them getting the budget of the state. But there are always priorities. Economics is just what you call management of resources. When resources are scarce, you need to take certain decisions. And when you are taking decisions, there will be opportunity cost. When you are making those choices, there will be opportunity, identity forgone. But as much as possible, you've done your scale of preference. We are going to ensure that if another opportunity offers itself, this is actually implemented. As I'm talking, it's actually implemented in the year 2020 projects. The two of them are the 100 million for Atiba was actually at an advanced stage by the time that I was actually leaving the office. I had the opportunity of coming back to that particular ministry. That is something I will definitely take up into consideration. And because of the fact that we are going to go back to the town hall meeting for the inclusive budgeting exercise, I must have something to report back to them in terms of what we have been able to do over the set of period that we met with them budget implementation exercise. So the same thing for Lautech. For discriminating of a budget data across MDAs, that is something that I've been able to put together. I'm sure when I was in office, I ensured that MDAs meet budget requirements as quickly as possible before they don't do it. Now, and I insist, you cannot be doing it every quarter. It must be done every month. Let us have your budgetary performance returns every month so that is what we work together for the quarter. And we upload it immediately. Because there's even a deadline that if you don't upload it, they will deduct points from the ranking that is actually coming out on budget transparency and accountability. When I assumed office, there was open access budgetary something that was done. I entered 36th position when I came into office, and I'm up to that. I've been able to move it to 21 position, or just to 21 position.
So 36 out of?
Sir?
36 out of
36 states, yes. On the way things are done. And now make sure that we adhere into deadlines on when you need to upload your first quarter report, second quarter report. Actually put up the monitoring and evaluation departments. I've started them with the responsibility of making sure that they cross-check data after the fact that we discovered that some NDAs to us and submit another one to the ministry, to the House of Assembly. So our ministry should not be declaring house. What coming? In fact, I went and I presented a memo at the cabinet for your state, in which I said any information going outside of your state must pass through the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning for us to be able to show that things are actually, because budget rated on your state as number 17 under the global gross domestic product. Right? And I said no. For more indication, please, that things must be proper. In terms of the strength of our university set, and that's actually one of the things that actually made us to perform very well in this set of ranking that we did. We were able to come in and it was passed. It was given a record passage, and put in there, everybody actually see. All your documents must always be on the website that everybody must see it anywhere across the world, because that's actually what shows that we are accessible and transparent to the people. The issue of environment, I've ensured the fact that whatever things you are spending to expand the scope of the inclusive budgeting that we do across the town hall meetings. Because it's only planning that actually goes into harvest. And I said I'm going to include the planning, research, and statistical office of the critical ministries now. Ministry of Work, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, Ministry of... Let them also hear what the people are talking and saying about their ministry. so that they will have first-hand information to present to the people. So having spontaneous budget hearing is doable, but we just have to look at the capacity of our people and then the quality of people that will go there. There are people that should be well happenings around there so that they will not go and give wrong information. If it's spontaneous everywhere, we can do maybe 2 or 3 together for us to be able to do it fast and harvest information as quickly as possible. Then the honorable challenges about the soaring inflation development. 3 years fiscal plans that